have accessed Dusk Protocol. Initializing.
The first painting appeared deceptively simple. A pastoral landscape, dated 1847. Rolling hills stretched toward a distant farmhouse, sheep grazing peacefully in the foreground. Marcus's trained eye noted the technical proficiency, the precise brushwork, the suggested formal training. But something drew his attention to the background, to a cluster of trees where a dark figure stood partially concealed. The figure seemed oddly placed, its proportions slightly wrong, like a shadow that had forgotten its source. Marcus consulted his authentication kit, examining the canvas age and paint composition. The signature, TW, appeared genuine, the oils properly aged, yet the figure in the trees seemed to shimmer when viewed peripherally, as if painted with different pigments than the rest of the scene. The second painting depicted a London street at dusk. Horse-drawn carriages traversed cobblestone streets beneath gas lamps. The same dark figure appeared, closer now, its Victorian funeral attire more distinct. Marcus noted how other elements in the painting, pedestrians, horses, even buildings, seemed to lean away from the figure's position, creating subtle distortions in perspective. By the fourth painting, Marcus noticed the pattern. Each piece moved the figure closer to the foreground, its features becoming incrementally clearer. The scenes varied dramatically. A crowded theater, a ship at sea, a grand ballroom. But that figure remained constant, growing larger, more dominant. The seventh painting marked a significant shift. The figure now occupied the middle ground, its elongated fingers visible for the first time. The digits extended too far, ending in points that seemed to leave trails in the paint itself. The background had grown darker, the other human figures now clearly fleeing, faces twisted in terror. Marcus's professional detachment began to waver. He found himself checking over his shoulder between examinations, unable to shake the sensation of being watched. The gallery's track lights flickered occasionally, creating moments where the paintings seemed to move in the shifting shadows. He discovered Blackwood's journal behind the ninth painting, its pages filled with increasingly erratic entries. Day 47. The figure advances, not just within each painting, but between them. TW knew. The sequence is a doorway. Each viewing strengthens its passage. Day 89 found records of TW's death. They discovered his body before his final painting, brushes clutched in blackened hands. The canvas showed only his terrified face and those reaching fingers. Day 124. They're not paintings at all. They're windows, and something is climbing through. The 11th painting depicted a Victorian dining room. The figure dominated the scene, its absence of face now clearly intentional, a void of absolute darkness beneath its top hat. The other dinner guests were mere blurs of motion, caught in eternal flight from their uninvited guest. Marcus's hands shook as he documented each piece. The temperature in the gallery had dropped steadily, his breath now visible in pale clouds. The brushwork on recent paintings appeared increasingly wet, colors more vivid than possible for their age. When he touched the 13th canvas to test the texture, his fingers came away stained with fresh paint. Blackwood's final journal entry provided context. The artist wasn't painting scenes, he was painting traps. Each viewing draws it closer to our reality. I thought I could control it, study it, but the sequence must be maintained. Breaking it releases something worse. God help anyone who sees them out of order. The 15th painting showed only the figure, its elongated form filling the frame. The background had dissolved into abstract shadows, but the details of its clothing were now precise. Funeral clothes from the 1840s, fabric rippling in non-existent wind. The hands reached toward the viewer, fingers extending beyond their natural length, seeming to press against the canvas itself. Marcus considered leaving, abandoning the authentication, but something compelled him forward. Professional obligation mixed with a deeper, more primitive need to see the sequence completed. The gallery lights dimmed further, shadows crawling across the walls like living things. The 16th painting pulsed with its own light. The figure's empty face filled most of the frame, the void beneath its hat seemingly endless. Closer inspection revealed tiny shapes swimming in that darkness. Faces frozen in eternal screams. Bodies twisted in impossible positions. When Marcus reached the final painting, he understood Blackwood's madness. The frame contained no image, only a mirror-like surface of wet, black paint. His reflection appeared, distorted, elongated, and behind him. Police found Marcus's authentication kit the next morning, along with a new painting in the sequence. The piece showed Marcus Cole, frozen in oils, his face contorted in terror as impossibly long fingers wrapped around his throat. The painting was still wet, the signature TW glistening in fresh crimson. The Blackwood collection was sealed away after that night, the mansion abandoned to decay. But every full moon, lights still move through the east wing. Local teenagers who dare to peek through the windows report seeing new paintings appear, each displaying another victim caught in eternal terror, reaching out from behind their glass prisons as dark figures with elongated fingers stand ever closer behind them. Mrs. Henderson still visits monthly, though she hasn't aged a day since Marcus's disappearance. She tends to the paintings, ensuring their sequence remains undisturbed. Sometimes, late at night, visitors to the estate's grounds hear her whispering to the collection, as if reading an endless catalog of new acquisitions. The art world has largely forgotten the Blackwood incident, dismissing it as urban legend. But in certain exclusive galleries, wealthy collectors whisper about a series of paintings that appear mysteriously in private auctions. They say each piece shows a dark figure, moving closer with each scene, searching for new perspectives to add to its eternal gallery.
Like, comment, subscribe. Check out nerdlegion.net.